Hello peeps, it's the Hillbilly Halfwit, how are you? And what this is, I'm sitting in my Fastrac. You're probably going to see the video after this, and I'll show you how I fixed the problem with the steering. So basically we had a problem that we were leaking huge amounts of oil on the shaft going down to the steering arm, moving the arms that move the rods that move the wheels. So we had to change the seals in there. And it was a bit of a job to get it all done, to be honest with you. But look around, I'll show you now. So we got it all sorted. I'm just going to go for a spin in it. I'm afraid I can't hold the camera and do it because I haven't got my other mount with me. But to follow now will be me trying to fix this thing, okay? So it all worked out well. Please subscribe down here for more content, because I haven't put up too much of this. This is what my normal content used to be all the time. So here's one for the JCB Fastrac fans. What we got here is a Fastrac 15565. I've had a steering problem with it. I've been trying to fix for the last week, and it's been a bit of a pain, to be honest with you. The front end has all had to come off. Look, I'll switch you around so you can see it, okay? So if you look here, all these radiators and the bonnet and everything and hydraulic coolers all had to come off. Very awkward to get at. I've had a job to get the seals, but I did get them from a good place in the end. But I could not get this pin out. So basically what it is, that pin is the other way up now, but it was the cog on the top and it pushes up from underneath. And I've had to get a jack and a piece of timber to push this up, and it took some moving, I can tell you. So the seal is gone. It's just this one here. That's it. So this bearing was stuck down in there, so I couldn't get that out. And if you look down there where that light is, there's a steering arm. If you can see it. Sorry, I can't quite see. I am pointing out there's a steering arm there that had to be pulled off the bottom with the hydraulic pullers that I bought. But this bearing should be sat down here, and that was stuck in that. So this is not an easy job at all, I got to be honest with you. All for this, just this seal is gone. That's all the problem is. A lot of work for this. And this part here I'm talking about, if you bought a new one, you're talking £2,500 to £3,000, and the seals were 60 quid. So there we are. That's it there. And what happens is these things go for a good few years. Like this one is 1996, this was, I think. So it's been, how many years is that? I can't think off the top of my head. 25 or 30 years, isn't it? So that seal has been okay, but it's just started leaking so much oil you couldn't keep it going like that. So we're going to try to knock this bearing down quietly now without breaking it again, so it goes back down where it should be, and then replace that seal and put it back together. But I'm afraid I haven't been doing a whole video on this because it's just basically been too awkward. It's really awkward job. One of them jobs you have to go at for an hour, get frustrated, go back to. That's what it's been like. I got the front end of it off quite easy in the end, but messing about with this pump is different altogether. So I bought a £50 hydraulic pullers off eBay. I'll show you it this next week. And that, if I hadn't have had that, I'd have never done it, because it put 5 ton of force onto that piece down there, the steering actuate, the arm that moves the rods that move the wheels. I'd have never got that off without that, so that was a good purchase. 50 quid that was. Hello peeps, this is following on a bit further now. So what we've done, if you notice here, this was all painted, got paint on it, and that's what the problem was. Why that bearing this pin wouldn't come out through, because there was a real thickness of paint on there. So this is the seal that has gone, look. So that was there. So it's actually pitted a bit on that shaft. I hope it'll be okay. I think it should be. The bearing's okay as well. See, that had slipped up there if you'd seen when I was talking about it before. Really, this should be taken off and sent somewhere, but I think it'll be okay. If it isn't, I'll have to take it off again, won't I? Don't want to do that. That's a little bit rough. I'm going to get some sandpaper on there, I think. So, yes, if you're having problems, get one of these shafts up. So this shaft would have been sat in the machine like that, and that comes from the bottom. Well, the paint is on here, like one of the guys said in the Fastrac forum, and then that bearing won't slide through. And you can't get to that paint, because I tried to get to the paint from the bottom with a scraper, and you can't because the chassis is in the way. So you've just got to get a jack under here and force it up. So I jacked it up, and it eventually came out after a few goes, but then that bearing was stuck on that paint. So that's what, like the guy said, that was a problem. Why paint that, eh? So that is definitely pitted. We're going to try and make that a little bit smoother, but we're going to have to try and use this as it is, because I don't want to be, you know, spending huge money on doing something like that. So if it don't hold, we'll have to take it off and do it again. That's all there is about it. We need to use it. So there we are. I haven't put it back together, but now you can see it. And we finally got the steering fixed. You'll see it in the previous bits of this video. I will turn you around and I will show you how we got it sorted. So it's all back together. It's all working correctly now, but when I put it back together before, I could only get it to steer quite a bit the one way and not so much the other way, so it was out of balance. Now I know I put the motor together exactly right. So when you take the motor apart and you take them bolts out there, you pull the pin out, you're just going to make sure that that's in the correct place as you put it when you take it out. So that, I knew that was right. So what has happened is down here, can I get under there now? Yeah, perhaps so. Bear with me a second. Oh, hold on, it's not easy being the mechanic. Right. If you look here, this is the arm that runs everything, and that goes onto that. That's the pin that goes up for the steering motor. And then this is the track rod here that it runs off. So every time the steering motor moves, it moves that arm and it moves the steering. Now what had happened is I got my Chinese pullers here, that hydraulic pullers, to pull off this arm, because it goes so tight on there you couldn't do anything with it. So I had to get that pullers on it, pull it as tight as it could. Remember, it's a 5-ton pullers. It was on as tight as it would go and it wouldn't budge it. So I just left it there for about an hour. And as I was cleaning my tools up here, it was a mighty bang and it came loose. And this came off, which I wanted. But the trouble is then, is that I wasn't sure which splines it had come off. So when I put this back on, I put it back on as it came off, but it was slightly out with the splines. So even though the motor and everything is correct, the splines are out. So what I've done is, to sort this out for anybody, any help to anybody is, it's 6 turns on the steering wheel to get full lock. So then what I did was pull it back to 3 turns, and then I marked this, so it's in the middle of where it is, okay? So what I did then was, I got the wheels in line where I eyed the wheels in line where they should be with the back wheels. So I moved the steering until I got the wheels in line, and then this was out obviously, so it was shooting off this way a bit. So what I did then was I pulled this castle nut off, got the pullers on again, pulled this off, and then got this into the Fastrac and put the steering so this was in line. So it was 3 turns, and then I pushed this arm back on then again after this pin was in line. So I pulled this arm off, moved the steering to get the pin in line, pushed the arm back on, then, and it's spot on now. So it's 3 turns, 6 turns for a whole revolution, and it's 3 turns to the middle of the steering. So everything's spot on now. But you will need a pullers to get this off, because it's serious tight. And that pullers there was a 50 quid hydraulic Chinese pullers. That saved the day. Never done it without that. So this is tightened up for now, but it needs a bolt to go in there, and just to clamp that nut so it don't come loose. I've hammered it up as tight as I could go, but this has been quite a hard job, I will say that. So I'll go above now. Oh, this has been quite a hard job. Oh. Yeah, so it wasn't that costly, but it took a lot of time. So basically, you don't have to get that motor off. You can pull these radiators off, the oil coolers and everything, and then you pull that piece off the bottom I just showed you, and then you can pull the pin out by getting the jack up to it underneath, pushing the jack with a piece of wood, pushing the pin out. And then you can change the seal on the bottom and the seal on the top in this cap as well. So that's what there were 2 seals. The other one was for the top, the cap that went on top of the motor. And you just get a screwdriver in there, fish it out and put the other one in. It seems to be all holding oil. So that was leaking so bad before you couldn't even have it running for more than 5 minutes. So it seems okay. So it's been quite a hard fix, I will say that, because JCB Fastracs are not easy to work on. Once you make a tool and get things to work, like I've had to, this is a huge adjustable, and I had to, if you can see there, cut this adjustable so it was bigger so it would fit that nut. And then I had to get some great big long bars on it. Hold on. Ugh. Just to loosen that nut, because they hadn't been off for 30 years or 20 years or whatever it is. So, but yeah, got it sorted, and hopefully we can get this going now, because I need to do a bit of tillage at the other ground we got. We need to disc up all the ground there and put some grass seed down and things like that. So let's hope it'll work okay. So over and out, all the best, guys. Please subscribe down here. Don't cost you anything, and it helps me out a lot. Ta-da.